Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, look what has just arrived. This is a pre-war Canadian Pacific. And I found this on eBay for $6.98 with a 5.56 caboose. Now, this just arrived. I didn't do an unboxing because this one had damage that needed to be repaired before I could do anything with it. Anyway, I got the locomotive repaired. There's the 5.56 caboose. And like I said, I got both of these on eBay for $6.98. Now, the problem with the locomotive, this is pre-war and in fairly decent condition. Not perfect, far from it in fact. Missing one of the markers, as you can see, and generally fair condition at best. Motor was in really decent shape, pre-war motor. The problem was this front wheel had wheel rot, as you can probably tell. Anyway, someone had taken it apart, pulled the wheel off, and ground all the gears off of it. This is one of the drive wheels, as you can see. So this is a mismatched wheel. I just pulled it out of the junk box just so I could test this locomotive. But like I said, someone had just literally ground the gears off of this wheel. So completely mismatched. You can see how dirty it was. This thing was just absolutely filthy. Anyway, so I pulled the wheel off. I put a mismatched wheel on there just so I could run it and see if it runs. It actually runs quite well, surprisingly enough. Let me pull this camera off the tripod. So like I said, $6.98. I was the only bidder on this. And power is on. No. Yeah, power is on. All right, where am I? Let's put it on a rail I can use here. Let's see, where am I? There's a consist on here. I can use this rail. All right, put it on rail 1. So it runs backwards, it runs forwards. There's no problem with it at all. It runs actually quite well. The problem was, of course, that someone had just ground the gears off of this wheel. Why? I have no idea. I guess it allowed them to run it, but in any case, you can see the how dirty this wheel was, and it has wheel rot. And like I said, they've taken it off and just ground the gears off of it. I'm not exactly sure why they did that. Anyway, like I said, I had a gear in the junk box, or a wheel in the junk box. So it's mismatched, but I just stuck it on there. I've got a matching wheel someplace. I just have to find it. I just wanted to see if it was going to run. So snapped on a new front wheel, and this locomotive is actually running quite well. Pre-war, as you see. And like I said, not in terrible condition, but not in great condition. But $6.98, really difficult to beat the price. There's no doubt about that, with the 5.56 caboose. Anyway, so it's on rail 1, and as you see, it actually runs quite well. Had to replace the light bulb, of course. So I haven't run it around the rail yet. Let's put it on a consist and take this around and see how it actually pulls. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to save this or not. There was only a few photos of it, and the photos were actually quite poor. It was in fair condition at best. It was absolutely filthy. Anyway, let's take this around and see how it runs. A Marx Canadian Pacific pre-war, $6.98. I was the only bidder. So I've oiled it, oiled the axles, replaced that wheel, replaced the light bulb. And that's running at 50% power. Wow, it's running faster now. So that's more than fast enough. Let's slow this down a bit. Okay, there's 40% power. So as you see, it's actually running quite well. So it was definitely worth the $6.98. Plus I got that 5.56 caboose with it. So it has a mismatched wheel for now, and it is missing one of the markers. So, not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I couldn't pass it up for the price. And it's always a challenge to buy some old wreck and get it running. And this is actually running really well. And the E-unit is working, as you can see. Whoops, I just derailed. So I just wanted to do a quick video on this. It's always interesting to get a new locomotive, especially when you can get one really, really cheap and get it repaired. It took about 5 minutes to do this. Just used the wheel puller, pulled the wheel off, and like I said, it had wheel rot. I just can't imagine why they would just grind the gears off of it, but in this case they did. So like I said, I just put a mismatched wheel on it for now, and I just had one handy, so I just stuck it on there just to see if it would run, and as you see, it actually runs quite well. So the motor was worth what I paid for the entire thing. So I have a couple of options here. I can either use this for parts, which I very seldom do. 99% of the time I can get these things running. So I will very likely just pull the other marker off and fill these holes. It just seems redundant to buy a $12 part for a $6 locomotive. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video on this. It just got here. It's been here less than an hour. And other than general cleanup, and the thing was filthy, and you can just tell by this wheel how absolutely filthy this thing was. It had been sitting for decades somewhere, just covered in filth. So I pulled the motor out, dumped it down in hot soapy water, and scrubbed it with a brush. It's actually in fairly decent condition. The only problem, of course, is the paint, but the paint can be touched up in a matter of minutes, so I don't usually take that into consideration. The missing marker, like I said, I'll probably just pull this one off and plug the holes. It's a lot easier and a lot cheaper. Like I said, it just seems redundant to spend $8, $10, $12 for parts on a $6 locomotive. So usually I do not. Anyway, it was definitely worth what I paid for it. It runs well. It's acceptable looking. I can touch this paint up in just a matter of minutes. And as you see, it runs just absolutely splendidly. No problem with it at all. So all I had to do was replace that one wheel and lube and tune and clean the motor, and it was up and running. As you see. Whoops, I just came uncoupled. So, like I said, it's always fun when a new locomotive arrives. And when you can get these things cheap, I mean, really, really cheap. That's the fun part of taking some old wreck that nobody else wanted. In a few minutes work, you have this thing up and running. And really all I had to do is replace the wheel. So there's 40% power again. So Prewar, Canadian Pacific, $6.98. I was the only bidder. So that's running really well. It's actually running quite fast, considering that's 40% power. 50% power, it'll almost derail. So it runs nice, it looks good. All I have to do is replace that marker. It even has the red insert for the main stack, as you see. So it was definitely worth the $6.98. No doubt about that. And like I said, all I had to do was replace this wheel. And I've never seen this done before. I don't know why anybody would grind the gears off unless the gears were literally falling apart. But in any case, really, really bad storage is responsible for all of this damage that you see. This isn't playware. This is all storage damage. Anyway, it's up and running. It looks good. I can clean this up in just a matter of minutes. I can touch up the paint. Like I said, the missing marker, I will very likely just take the marker off the other side, plug the holes, and touch up the paint. It'll be virtually invisible repair. So a Marx Canadian Pacific pre-war, $6.98 with the 556 caboose, of course. And I was the only bidder on this. And I haven't had to do anything to it. Basically clean it, lube it, get all the crud and oxide off of it, and then replace that drive wheel. Like I said, I've got a mismatched wheel on there for now, but good enough to do the testing. I've got a spoked wheel someplace. I've just got to find it. But it's up and running. It's actually running really, really well. As you can see. So it was definitely worth the $6.98. And plus I got a 556 caboose in less than perfect condition. But even if you don't use it, you've got the coupler and 2 sets of wheels and axles, not to mention the flat car itself. So anyway, just want to do a quick video on this. As I always stress, don't overlook the junk. It took 5 minutes to get this wheel pulled and install another one. And the rest of it was just a bit of alcohol to clean the brushes and the armature. A few drops of oil. That was it. That's all I've had to do to it. The major thing was replacing that wheel. And 5-minute repair. This thing's up and running. Like I said, I'll very likely just pull this other marker off, plug these holes, and then respray the entire locomotive. We will see. Not sure yet. Anyway, it just got here. $6.98. I was the only bidder. And as you can see, in parts alone, it's worth $6.98. It was simple to fix. It runs good. It looks nice. A few minutes work, you can get this thing cleaned up. And although it's never going to look new, it will definitely be acceptable. It looks nice. It runs really well. Put a new light bulb in it. Change the drive wheel. The rest of it was basically oil and straightening things out. Bent push rods and things like that. But a pre-war Canadian Pacific for $6.98. Really difficult to beat that. So I just want to do a quick video on this. Always fun to get a new locomotive, and when you can get them cheap, that's just icing on the cake. Like I said, it took 5 minutes to replace this wheel, and even though the replacement is mismatched, I've got a spoked wheel someplace. I just have to find it, and then I'll pull the mismatched wheel off and replace it with a spoked wheel. But it's up and running. That's the important part, and it was really, really inexpensive. Difficult to beat that combination. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.